Hello, hello. How are we? Oh, God. This shit's annoying me so much. Had a Monday of a Tuesday. I'm sorry. Ah. Oh, yeah. I forgot that there's an idiot convention in town. Craig, thank you for 131 months. Very much appreciated. This shit right here is pissing me off. I don't understand. So, I'm using WebSockets. And these are chat message. Well, this is what a chat message event looks like. And for badges, it gives me badge names as keys and badge versions as respective values, which I think is useless information. It's probably not useless information, but I don't see any way to assemble the URL of the badge images. And I just tried get badge info, and it literally, if I hand it the name, it gives me the version number, which is the information I already have. So I don't even know why this method is here. It's the world's most useless method because this is the same information. So I'm fucking stumped on that one. No, none of the above, Fox. Not at all.
Where is the brain?
I am trying to switch over the functionality of the camera game to my server, because previously it was relying on chat messages it was getting from Stream Elements. So now it's getting chat messages via WebSockets, a WebSocket connection to my server. I'm using Twerple.
Come on, people.
As the framework or whatever, the middleware between me and the Twitch API. Superclass, thank you for 56 months. Jazzium, thank you for 129 months. Very much appreciated. So on the leaderboard, I show usernames, and I was showing badges, but in the information that I'm getting back via WebSockets, I don't seem to have any way of getting the image, like the CDN URL. for the badge images. Like all it's giving me is this basically. So essentially, to be honest, something is not correct there. But at any rate, I should probably figure out why that's not looking right. Let me do this instead. Okay. Chat away. It's over here. Yeah. So it gives me the name as the key and then the version as the value. But from what I can tell, you can't assemble the badge URL with just that information. Am I stupid? Why isn't that showing up there? Oh, there it is. Strange. So I don't find this to be particularly useful information. Do I have to do an API call to get that? Reference.
I'm down with a green bean guillotine.
Okay, so basically you're saying from event sub, I can't get that information, so I have to make an explicit API call, which I can do. Oh God, where would it even be? I wish this documentation had like a search filter or something. And it wouldn't be like a top level exposed thing, right? Badge set. ID versions. Why is the version so important? I need the URL. What is up with that? Why are you like this? Click URL? Oh no, well, I mean, that would be literally, oh my God, there it is. Get image URL. Scale. Oh, but I have to get the, I have to have this object already. You have the API endpoint. I don't know if that's going to help me because of the way that I am using Twerple. So I'm not like raw dogging the Twitch API here. Let me get rid of this stuff. So I am using, I have some API stuff where I can pull things, but I don't really use these. Thank you for the dicks. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. So I do use it here. Mr. Phantom Gamer, thank you for 104 months. And Saf, thank you for 65. Did I miss you? I think I missed you. So that is not here. Maybe just straight up API. I like how it links to its own, yeah. Where would I find this? Yeah, the Twitch API has changed so much. Polls. Create poll, end poll. Is that what I'm even using? What did I start poll? Oh, well, okay. I'm a fool because this is my own layer. And what's actually happening is init poll. Oh my god. What's wrong with my brain? Wait. Init poll. So for that, I'm just writing it out to a file. Okay. All right. Is that all this is doing? Start poll is... It's assembling the stuff. It's writing it to a file. Oh, and then it's calling create poll here. API client polls create poll. What the hell? No, it's all good, Dab. I don't think it's gonna really help me very much. So I need to figure out where amongst these here where badges would live. And it's got to be something with maybe chat. Huh. No. There's get channel badges, but that's just going to get all the badges, which I'm not sure. No, that's not going to help me. That's not what I need. I don't think get global badges is going to help me either. It's just going to be a pile of all of the badges. I mean, I guess you're saying I could look them up. Thank you for the dicks. It can't be this silly. There's got to be a way to directly look up a badge. I just want the URL. I don't want to have to build an entire framework, build my own React. It just doesn't seem right to me is basically where I'm at. It seems insane. It seems so roundabout, but I guess I don't see any other way of doing it. Well, what I don't understand is why it gives you that list at all, Dav. Why bother giving me that list? That feels so insane to me. I'm having issues with the data structure here. This is nothing. This isn't anybody's fault but my own. I'm just mad at the data structure. Why can't it just give me the URL right there instead of giving me useless information that I have to then build like a badge fetch framework to assemble what I'm looking for. I'm teetering on just removing the display of the badges from the game because it's just so annoying. Like, am I crazy or is it weird? So Shemi, yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy the gift sub. Okay, so I have to do a whole separate thing of getting the global badges and get the channel badges. Which is going to give me, see, I'm concerned here. Okay. So the version is actually going to, it's going to take me there. God, it's so far down the goddamn chain. Oh, right. Okay. So the reason for this being this way is because of the CDN, and not only that, but the fact that each image isn't just an image, it's a bunch of images that could have different versions and sizes. That's why this is annoying. Okay. That's why it's annoying. All right. So I really do have to build a badge lookup thing. That's so tedious. Okay. I think I'm going to iterate on other things. Okay, so this is unhappy about a few things because the names of things don't line up anymore. User ID. It's actually all to do with the leaderboard. I think the actual commands are working. No, yeah, it was just me being a little bitch about it. That's all. User ID. So am I passing an ID in? Chatter ID. Okay. So hypothetically, this should fix that. Okay, you guys have stopped talking. Let's see. Still no. dokie. Actually, I don't know that it's going to be event.data. All that. I think it's just going to be event. Oh, well, it's also right here. Oh, Lord. Go ahead and do some more chatting. Oops. Display name. Oh, yeah, that's got to be updated too. Ah. Yeah, I saw all the Kojima stuff today. It was weird. 2 games, an anime, a documentary about sake or something. Actually, there was like a 2-hour conversation. I think that there was a separate thing that was a documentary, and then there was like a sake announcement. So it was like 5 things. Okay. Now do commands work? Yes. Hey, BFA. You haven't really missed too much. I'm in the midst of converting the input for our camera game over to WebSockets, so it works with my server. Yeah, this is kind of a version of chat on screen. Yeah, so if you guys just want to like play a round of this, and that'll help me determine. Please read my pamphlet of cheats. I love that the zoom works. Although I haven't tested it when it's like loaded directly in OBS. Thank you, Doug. It has a satisfying feel to it because it's got the sound effect and the animation kind of working perfectly together like that. When I was testing it, I just kept zooming in and out and in and out. Okay. And now it should restart. Hmm. Okay. Actually, hold on. Let's also do. Do that. All right, let's do another round. Actually, this might be weird because I think debug allows you to do some stuff. Oh, it's also just blasting the anomalies in there. My face needed to explode. Uh, Seismic, thank you for 55 months. Faratrix, I think I missed you. Thank you for 104 months. Well, welcome back, Seismic. I think there's some things wrong here. One is your maximum zoom out, or minimum zoom out, or however you want to think about it. You lose edges by zooming in, yeah. I would need to do more work to fix that issue. I wanted to add the ability to pan up and down and left and right by command. Yeah, I wanted it to feel kind of physically correct. Sorry, beer. Spooter was not in the database. Mm. I feel like Pan XY would be pretty ambitious. But maybe. I'd have to play around with the way that the way it behaves when it's zoomed. Apparently it rounded that, Nin. You only have to get 2 more and you win. I don't know how readable the debug text is, but I am sanitizing the input for that. As long as it's a number. There's 2 anomalies here. Wait 15 minutes for an Easter egg. Huh. Oh, wow. uh, that is a weird thing that I have found uh, when I was updating this, is that there's some things that apparently the way we were doing it is just very forgiving, but I was like just doing variables without declaring them and somehow getting away with it. Yeah. Strange. Strange that that ever worked. Do you see any info about the round, like anomaly count during the round? I mean, uh, the normal appearance of the game is just like this. So all of the information is on the heads up display, the user interface. You got your top left, you got your top right, you got your bottom left and your bottom right. Yeah, all the information is on the task. Okay. So that's good. We have essentially ported over the game to my server with the outstanding issue of if I want to build the API calls to get to basically construct the badge URLs to get those back in. Yeah, well, yeah, there's more to do for sure. My first goal is to go through and make sure that all of the ones that I want to include are running independently and relatively bug free, interoperating with my server. So, thus far, that's involved doing some updating here and there. Fortunately, Survivors is just out of the box, ready to go. I would say that our camera game now is ready to go or close enough. I was gonna try refactoring, but I've decided that I don't want to actually do any I don't want to embark on crazy refactoring because this is actually heftier than I remembered, and it would be it's well organized, but it is a giant monolith that would take a bit to figure out how to break it into modules and reorganize it and yada yada. So let's see. The other problem one is the maze. Now I've done a bit of work on it. It's like the music was. It's like we've loaded the maze music. That timing was incredible. So I have got it hooked up to where it will start a poll. Was what from last year or two ago? The camera game was last year. It was literally last year. Year before that was Survivors. Year before that was the novel and this maze game. Racing was after the novel. Okay, so we have WebSockets going. It's pulling in. Oh, we're also getting chat. That's kind of funny. We don't use chat currently in this. Yeah, the racing one is not part of all of this though. You can't remember the racing thing? Um Okay. I think there we go. No, this I never built any interactions into this. And I got to a point with it where I kind of got stuck on doing any further enhancement and abandoned it. I'm trying to remember how I did the car. This can't be right, but I think I freehanded the car. I'm just staring at it, trying to remember if that's the case. I don't think that can be the case. Oh, did I? I traced a 3D model? Okay. That makes way more sense. I would not have been able to freehand this so nicely. This is pleasant to just stare at. It's a very effective illusion, you know? I think this looks better than Cruising USA. Yeah, but it's not ScreamADay. It's uh it's clearly not ScreamADay. The thing that frustrated me with this in the end was that I didn't actually ultimately understand what I was playing with. I followed a tutorial. I grasped the concepts in a sort of large, I don't know, bird's eye view kind of way. But when it came to trying to take it in any direction away from what I was just pulling from the tutorial, I wasn't really able to do so because I didn't grasp the fundamental concepts. Yeah, make a ScreamADay version of it. Honestly, wouldn't be too hard, except for that I'm between graphics solutions right now. I do not have Creative Cloud. I completely ditched Adobe a while back, and I haven't onboarded myself onto the what are they called? Affinity, that whole suite of things. Not to mention the fact that they're not uh, native runnable on Linux. So I have all of that to figure out as well. It was the first thing. What was the first thing? Oh, no, no. No, the first thing was this wasn't before the novel. Survivors was not first either. Survivors was 2 years ago. The novel was 3 years ago. I think the novel was the first thing. That was what got me onto Phaser. Phaser is 100% a game engine. And this is using Phaser, although the parts of it that make it what it is, like the core stuff where it's like an illusion racer thing, is more about the algorithm and not about the game engine. Game engine's providing some side stuff like the image loading, the particular draw methods, but Survivors was not the first phaser demonstration. It was the novel 3 years ago. The novel used phaser. The intro portion of that year where the do you guys remember the trees and the logo? Yeah, that was phaser. That was technically a separate application. A top-down game. I mean, Survivors is a top-down game. There was a Unity tutorial I did, yeah, with the guy behind what is that game called? Tactical Wizards something. I'm not sure I even had a repository for that intro. Aha. Oh no. Uh, I tried opening it and it is so busted. Wow. Okay. That ain't right. But what if um hold on. Turn that off. Um hmm. Just a moment, just a moment, just a moment. Do that. And that's um wow, that is just super not working. Oh, wait. Yay. So this was probably I guess this would have been the very first phaser thing. Thank you, Doug. I think there was other stuff too because we had I know there were like graves, right? Countdown. Dev? What is dev? Is that it? Is it part of the countdown? Did it do like, oh, the trees would close and sometimes it would show something different, didn't it? Okay, so this was like a development version, I guess, of this. Okay. I see, I see, I see. So this would have been the final version. The countdown was managed by Ye Old Snaz, an application I have used for over a decade. I haven't used it much lately because I haven't been doing countdowns, but basically it would just write a countdown to a file, a text file. And that could be something that I had as a command or a chain of commands when it starts to stream. So it would kick it off and start a preset countdown. And then I just pointed this at the file, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. So if we just let this run, we should get graves. Although it's an open question as to whether we'll get chatter names or anything like that. See if we get a different scene here. Rip. No, I don't think it was that. I mean, for all I know, maybe the dev one is the one that's more up to date. You see here. So no, this one has grave images in its files. So hypothetically, this was last edited October 8th, 2022. So was the dev one. Yeah, without doing like a diff between them, I don't really know. October 8th, 4:10 p.m. Both of the files in both folders, so I think they're probably exactly the same. He was fucking around, clearly. I'm looking at the settings of this now. I have opened it up. Hmm. Well, based off of what I'm seeing here, it's random. Ah, okay. Problem is, it has to have chatters. And where is it trying to get chatters? Get chatters. Get chatters. Ah, it's trying to get it from my server and is trying to do it the old way that does not exist anymore in the server. And that's why we're not getting graves. That's why. Well, that explains that. Yeah, it can't put you in the grave if it can't find you. So this is my next problem. Oh, I did find that it was indeed not checked in, but I found the stuff that wasn't checked in and I rescued it. So the special edition 6 monsters, the 6 Alona monsters are present again. Now this one unfortunately is a bit more problematic. Was there food? If you're testing me, I can tell you that I do not have the answer. There is one that kind of just doesn't really work because it's a a black blob. Surprised I didn't trigger an encounter there. We were occupying the same cell. I don't remember food. So this one is going to be a little bit tougher to fix. It is kicking off the polls, but everything after that is bust. And beyond that, I'm not even totally sure that I remember what the intention of the gameplay was. I think you're thinking of Dino Park food, which did happen. Craig, it made a forum and people submitted dinosaurs. That's weird that that didn't trigger an encounter. I guess maybe... Are they functioning? I guess it's very particular. Yeah, BFA, essentially. No, I wasn't still in an encounter because I had refreshed the thing. Yeah. So part of the problem with this one is that it is a big pile of shit. Oh yeah. Wait. So do some chatting. Is that coming through as an error or not? Hi. It's just coming through. Why is it coming through? Oh, event.data. So that's just happening. Is this? It should be spitting here, right? Because the type on this is chat message. It's weird. Is there something wrong with the structure of the switch? Hmm. Oh yeah, thank you. Forgot. Default is just a keyword. Ay, ay, ay. Forgive me. I'm looking at malformed code from 3 years ago. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Here we go. It's not even really. Not really an error. Okay. Poll progress, poll end. Fantastic. Now, the real trouble with this is the way that the player stuff was written. The way the entire thing was written. Here it is. Oh boy, yeah. This was nasty. This was nasty as hell. So I didn't have like a full grasp of the way phaser stuff worked when I wrote this, but I was on the road, right? Because basically I had done some of the novel stuff, and really it was um it was a struggle because I was kind of coming at certain approaches to things from the wrong angle and so forth. And I was recognizing that and learning, obviously. So then I think when I did the maze, I like kind of flew into doing it because I was just like, "Oh, now I understand stuff better. I'm going to do a better job." Obviously, Survivors was when I really got a grasp of how to use the engine. And so this is still, by comparison, like just baby stuff that I did really, really badly. So something that I was doing at the time was I was not using the update loop, and literally um the update loop in the game is just, where is it? Here it is. Present. It's unused. I'm just using these time events, which is a horrific, terrible way to do anything because you're essentially, it's like using a set timeout to do everything, and doing chains of set timeouts is essentially what I was doing. Yeah, for every frame, do. So what was happening here is, and this is why it would fuck up, we would set this variable poll active true, and then we would do poll check. There was code here I've actually already deleted because I have brought in the WebSockets approach here. But basically, it would call the API and say, "Hey, start a poll," and then it would start a time add event, which is essentially a timed event thing that kicks every 500 milliseconds, so twice a second, and it would say, "Hey, give me the current results," and it would look at them, and let's see how we would check if we were done. I can tell you that it's going to be bad. Poll check get repeat count equals 1. So if the repeat count is 1, we stop. Is that right?
I struggle
I
with Lord
think
Tyrannix.
I think I realize now. So this wasn't repeating. I mean, it could have repeated clearly, but what we wanted to do was wait for the amount of time that the poll was going to take. So basically, it was just like, what if what it was just basically like some real engineering. What if race conditions weren't a bad thing? What if a race condition was just functionality? Lord Tyrannix, thank you for 64 months. Nintendo 64 months. That's basically what I apparently was doing here. I guess because I didn't have anything better in mind. So I was just like, hey, let's just set up a race condition and hope that I win the race. If I don't, then shit will completely break dramatically. Yeah, monsters do continue to move, but maybe let's focus on one problem at a time. Yeah, but it's not a very useful win, basically. The game essentially doesn't function right now, so that to me is a more important goal here. So all of this is just bad. We don't want to do that. Uh, we have better stuff now for getting progress because the progress just gets blasted at us. We don't have to ask for it. We're being told what the progress is and when the poll is over. So I think all I need to do is essentially what am I doing? I can make a function that's called for these here. I don't have an event center in this, and I don't want to refactor this whole thing. So we'll give the player some functions that this stuff gets ported to, probably. Yeah. I'm yoinking most stuff for the WebSockets from the ScreamADay setup because not ScreamADay setup, the Survivors one, because Survivors had like an event system throughout the blah 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 blah. It was much more refined as far as the overall approach. This one is definitely a pile of shit. I still like it. I think it's fun and interesting, but it is a pile of shit. So let's do update poll results here. And we're getting data choices. Yep. So then stop player. Okay. This stop player and save this player dot update poll results data dot choices. Let's do process poll end. Something like that. Choices. Choices. Okay. And then now we need to extract shit from here. Hmm. So this is the shit where we were updating stuff. Animate the change in vote count. All right, whatever. So this is where we're gonna update like the vote counts. So slap that in here. And then this is where we are doing the whole everything else. Right. And then the rest of this is just trash. I don't know if I don't think poll active is going to matter for anything going forward. So that reduces our start poll to this. That stuff's going in here. Okay. Now to try to make sense out of whatever the hell I was doing in these. I don't need poll active because the poll is over. We know it is. I wonder if I can. Oh yeah, just get rid of this here. Or if I can just. Probably not, actually. Yes, it is. Shut up. Okay, I don't think the data structure is the same. Name and votes. Maybe it is actually. Result votes. Might just work. Might as well try. What? Wait. Actions. What's actions? Nothing. It's probably this though. Something else happening somewhere else. What if I just did this? Let's try that. Oh, instead of text, it'd be name. Yeah, I think you're right. That's all right. On 394. Data.results. Why did I have this here then? What was I doing? Okay, we have something kind of functioning. Yeah, you did a thing. Yeah, it's not quite working right. But it's working more than it was. Yeah, it's the one that you called out, Food. It's this one here. Let's see if that helps us. I'm surprised we were kind of able to get it going so quickly. Thought it would be harder. But I mean, it might not. I don't know if it'll exit the encounter appropriately. I don't know if the other features are functional. Yes, just where are the monsters? Okay. Results. Oh my frick. This is not a thing. I don't even need that. Yeah, I think so, food. So now what will it do? Oh, progress updated. Yay! Look at that. You are that far behind, food. Hooray! And now this will never break in the way that it used to break because this completely removes the race condition problem. I'm so pleased that I was able to get this like functional again. Yeah. We'll do it, food. Hold on. I'm still kind of absorbing like what I'm not sure that anything is actually happening here. The loop of like doing a poll and processing the results is working, it seems. But is it infinite? I wonder. So what happens? What happens here? So when the poll ends, yeah, we sort the results and whatever, and yeah, do the tint thing. We reset the text. Then we continue actions. Continue actions. Execute player action. Text. Continue actions. Not sure things are actually happening as expected. It kind of feels like, well, I need to output more data about like what is occurring here. Um okay, so this is where we would also stop monsters. And that would be achieved by, based off of the way I've written the rest of this, is there some sort of horrible, there is, or no, that's damage. Let's see. Random move. Random move is triggered by what? Okay. Idle events. And what's calling idle? Okay, so idle is basically it's a init state. So that means this dot idle events, which is accessible on the up here, which means then this dot scene dot entities dot idle events dot pause and paused. It's true, I think. Should it do the trick? Ah, there were still some poll results, which has caused it to crash. But that's no, I have to do an unpause as well. I'm just checking to see if this works. Cannot set properties of undefined, setting paused. So why is that? Ah, huh. I see now. So if we look here, entities is what I called. Aha. So this needs to be a little bit more complex. I wonder then if it's this is probably the thing to do. I don't like the style I wrote this previously, but whatever. Um, Something along those lines, probably. Um, yeah, I guess that is also a way of doing it, food. So alternatively, hmm. Yeah, I like that idea better. It's interesting that I didn't have something here already. Like that. And then where's idle events? Do I not have the scene? I do have the scene. The stat scene. Oh, I put that on the player. The stat scene. Active encounter. And then wait a minute. Oh, okay. I am disabling it for the current, like the entity we're having an encounter with, which will now be irrelevant, I guess, but it's fine. Okay. So now, hypothetically, no other monsters should be moving or doing anything, and I don't think they are. And that's good just for preventing like needless issues, like monsters wandering into the same cell that you're already in. Okay. That sure waited a long time to then continue. But now we've actually had two encounters back to back. That is Krog. So I think we sort of kind of fixed this one. I need to reinstate or disable active encounter once it's actually over. Ah, but this isn't actually the end of the encounter. Right there. Yeah, no, I mean this really it lacks a lot of intended features if I recall correctly. I think some of you know the gist of what's behind this idea, right? And I've always made all of these games for some reason there's always a cryptic element where I'm like I want you guys to figure stuff out so I don't provide full information as to what is supposed to happen. Um, but this is definitely lacking in a lot of areas as to first of all, I think a lot of things don't do things that I wanted them to do. I wanted the encounters to be more conversational. And I think there's a missing piece there that might be busted or just was never completed. And yeah, it could also give better feedback about what actually won or what was selected. So you can at least tell what happened there. I found the lost ones elusive. which to the best of my knowledge are all ones that Six made, apart from maybe one. I forgot that I made so much stuff. Minimum pull time doesn't seem too bad. The minimum is like 15 seconds or something like that. You can use text to vote there. You can just type /vote space and then 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5. So you don't even have to interact with Twitch's interface, which would be slower. And probably the interface probably doesn't even work correctly on mobile anyway. Yeah, so there's this weird gap where nothing's happening, which that probably could be used to display some information about what's happening. I could probably leave the winning selection up. I feel like I remember them being colored. I feel like the winner was supposed to be colored. No, the commands like that don't show up in chat, Kiki. Hey, Mr. Beavis. I don't remember if it's good or bad or what. I think the logic needs to be re-examined and overhauled. The intention behind this was supposed to be that you have to maintain an equilibrium. And the full idea was that the creatures that you encounter in this labyrinth essentially have to be sorted. and you were supposed to be able to sort of like ask them stuff or try different things on them, and it would have different effects, and that would help you to determine how you needed to, handle it from there. So it's kind of like sorting the innocents from the condemned, that sort of thing. Yeah, data wise, the ones that I found. So when that night that happened, Six just made a bunch of drawings and gave them to me, and just to show them in the game, I overwrote existing ones without changing a bunch of code. So what I have done is I undid the overwriting and separated these out and added them as new ones, and then I just duplicated data to define them as entities, and they don't have any dialogue. They're just default basically. They don't have any definition. So these ones that you keep encountering that are the newer ones, they don't actually like have the thought going into how they're supposed to behave or anything like that. It's JSON. Yeah, it just reads it at the start. Uh, Another thing about this one is that it doesn't have any end game. There isn't like another level. Uh, it essentially you just wouldn't have time to get to the end. Is all there is to it because well, in some sense, so if you don't die, I also don't think it has any handling for when you die, by the way. I'm not sure if it resets appropriately. It probably doesn't. Um but let's say you don't die and you deal with every entity. There's 200 entities, by the way. So that's unlikely to happen. But if you did do that, uh, the only the only gameplay loop is that it's a maze solver. So it will finish touching every cell in the labyrinth and then stop when it gets to the last one. So I didn't really develop any sort of like what's next? What interesting things should happen? I think ideally would be that it would be like a smaller labyrinth, fewer entities. You solve that first sort of level of entities, and then once you've solved them all, you get to go to the next level and solve a new set of entities. Hypothetically, could leave it on all night so you could 100% it. Yeah. It just needs more development, is what I'm saying. It could have more to make it interesting. I think the base premise is kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys agree. Um, do you think it could be built on, or is it just too stupid? I really like it aesthetically, but I definitely feel like it needs more to be actually interesting. Yeah, there is one in here that is essentially it's just smoke. If I interrupt this process and walk away, I'll see if I can find it. This will break the game because this is not intended behavior. Oh my god, it's all Krogs. There's Sneck. The game is very broken now because I've done this. I'm glad I did build in some user controls though, because it's very useful. Oh my gosh. It's happening. I've lost control. I think we crashed the game. I don't know what happened. It's definitely broken now. Oh, probably the poll stuff. Doing that was probably bad. Oh, you killed the mouth guy while I moved? Well done. That's kind of what the plan was, Fox, yeah. Hey, Mr. B. What's up? What's up, Mr. Beebus? What's up, Miss Bun? Hello, Littles. So, the next thing now that these are all baseline functioning is I need to learn how to containerize them. Although, I wonder if that's jumping the gun. Because basically, what I was thinking here is that I'll containerize each of these. So we'll just assume that it would be the maze game and the server, survivors, and the anomaly game. And then I would build this ScreamADay TV. The question is whether that is a reasonable approach, like swapping containers based off of what you guys select. Is that viable? How viable is that? Container seems overkill. Well, I felt like there were some benefits to it. No, I haven't, but I have been imagining that I want to. I have the server, I have my home server, and I have a VM that's dedicated to just running Docker. I also have set up a essentially it's Git, but it's actually ForgeJo. I don't know how you say it, ForgeJo. So I could have my own private container registry. And I just already kind of have things otherwise set up for running containers on my server. So it just seemed like it would be a nice way to provide these for myself on my local network. And they'd be contained and I could expose just the settings that I need exposed and that sort of thing. But it wouldn't be, I guess, very advantageous if that doesn't enable, because the question is the ScreamADay TV idea. I'm trying to figure out how I would make a sort of this wrapper application that would seamlessly be able to switch between which game is running. Basically allow you guys to change the channel. Yeah, I guess there isn't that much difference. The container part of it isn't really that necessary, huh? I think I just like it because in my mind it seems clean. Not nothing to worry about on that front, Kiki. I'm actually pretty pleased already with the fact that I've been able to kind of resurrect um, most of the ScreamADay games and that they are confirmed playable. And I've got them ported over to the latest version of my server. So they all work from that same thing, which feels good. And, end of the day, worst case scenario, even if I didn't do anything else now and just decided to like lay down until ScreamADay starts, uh, I can reuse these. I can put these up. I can just like lo-fi do ScreamADay TV by just randomly picking which one is going to be the intro for the night, right? Um, so it's fine. It's a chill project that I'm just trying to think through how to make it more interactive. I just like the idea of it being like this thing where you guys interact with it and choose what you want to play or see or whatever. We could do other things too. That's the other thing I like about the TV idea is like we could have stuff in there like maybe old ScreamADay intros that could be loaded up at your uh at your demand, basically. On demand. Looks like you're sending this mouth to hell. Okay. That makes sense. Well, there's a variety of things that I've experimented with, Kiki. This game uses polls. The old novel game was just a poll system. Um, Survivors uses a mixture of things because you can use channel points. There was a reward or two. No, I think I only implemented one reward. But it was in there. And then it was polls for the level ups. And then for the anomaly camera game, that's all chat, just reading chat. Right. So basically, I could set up, like, I already have the Twitch server. I could pilot into that, but I think maybe it would be better if I made another separate server, possibly. Essentially, another WebSocket server. And yeah, the games could just be like, hey, the player died, kick off another vote. Now the thing was is I wanted to do the vision in my mind was that there was more to it than just that as well. Um I actually imagined that it would be like these would be getting loaded onto like a TV, which I don't know how. I was thinking like could I do like an iframe type of situation where the games are loaded into like a subsection of this? I'm not sure that that would be the best. It could just be an OBS scene as well, yeah. Um, because OBS does have an API that is available to browser sources. So another way of doing this is that I could build the TV thing as its own scene and then have settings where the other games are all on other scenes and that it just switches to those scenes. And then the games, when they're done doing whatever they were doing, like if the player dies or if the player wins or whatever, then at that point it kicks back to the TV scene. And that would be, it wouldn't even really be a wrapper. It would just, it would be another separate application and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, that's pretty easy because that's just a matter of like having them set up on the scene to unload when they're not visible. Wouldn't even need to be whole ass scenes. It could just be sources all in one scene, which would probably honestly be better. But yeah, could just leverage having the source unload when it is disabled, and that would basically solve that problem. So that's another way of doing it. I do love how easy WebSockets are. They're so nice for doing this sort of stuff. Whoops. All the debug stuff is still on. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't always good. It wasn't always good, but it is good now. It's just so easy now. I am realizing now why. Here's the deal. The rationale that I had behind the containers is because it would provide an easy way, an easy, repeatable, reliable way of running these from my server, which I think I still want to do just for my own convenience, because none of these have a server. I don't know if you noticed, but I am using an extension in VS Code to just run just the go live thing. Just run a simple web server so that this works. So then to run them and background them on the server or wherever I want to run them from is kind of obnoxious currently. So what they all need is they all need a little web server scaffolding to run from independently. And yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it would be very difficult to containerize. I just need to pick like a very small, light web server to package them with, and figure out the Docker file. I think that this has made me want to work on all of these again. Like, we found some bugs with this that now I want to fix, and there were features that I never completed with this. Like, I wanted there to be world selection or like random world options, but I kept running into various different walls. Like, well, kind of literally in the sense of one thing that I struggled with was the AI navigation for the mobs. So when I tried to do more complicated and interesting maps, they would constantly have issues. This is not in Node. No, this is literally just HTML, JavaScript, CSS with Phaser, the Phaser library, handling the game stuff. But it could be in Node. I just need to put a wrapper in there, basically. I think node would be overkill. I think I just need like a little... one of those really lightweight web servers. I also feel like there's a lot more that we could do with the anomaly game, too. I definitely had a lot more ideas for it, but we didn't have time. But maybe we'll expand on that as well. I know Craig had some thoughts. Appreciate that, food. Yeah, maybe if I start doing this stuff more regularly. Man, this one is just so satisfying for me. I'm really proud of this one still. The UI looks really nice and clean. It all works. Sound effects work really well for making it sound satisfying. Like, I love the sound of the hits. Like, when all the arrows come down, and you hear all the chunky, like... It's really satisfying to hear that. I need to switch this back to the original map. Because this one's ugly. But how doable is that? I think that's another thing that I never really completed. I never made it easy to switch worlds. Yeah, this map looked actually kind of good. I think there were pretty significant issues, Food, with changing the world. I think I hadn't resolved something with like unloading certain things or whatever, and I think it would crash if I recall correctly. Not that it can't be fixed. I'm sure it can be fixed. I just don't think I left it in a state where it would actually work. I also had this bug, this forever bug, where it would just get stuck losing life forever. Just a constant fountain of blood. What do you want, Em? Hell yeah. This is not Mario RPG. This is Mario 1.
Oh, yes. Give me that. Aw, shit.
Racontro, thank you for 109 months. Very much appreciated. No, this is a very random playlist. But let me check. Oh, you're right. Super Mario RPG end credits. My bad. You know, one of those vinyls there, I think, made me a liar. I said they pick an enemy target for their trajectory, but then there was one that was completely off the field where no enemy could be. Another thing that's always been really pleasing with this for me is how, like, simple tricks that are in this that I really like. Like, enemies can only spawn in off camera. And it's not a complicated thing that's happening with that. But I love how seamless it is. You never see an enemy spawn in. What you experience is just an increasing swarm, always coming from the edges. It's just always increasing. But you never see any evidence of where they came from or anything. Ripperino. And then we say, hey, switch back to the main OBS scene, or main OBS source. All right. Well, I think for tonight I am kind of tapped out, my friends. But this was fun. Thanks for hanging with me and helping. I hope this was interesting. I think it's kind of fun to go back through these and, you know, kind of reminisce and think about what we can do, what we can add, how we can use them. I like it. It's pretty fun. But yeah. That's it for tonight. Have a good one. Have a good one, everybody. I'll see you next stream.